Blessings, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dane, your host. Hope you're doing well wherever you may find yourselves. And welcome to another episode in my little mini-series where I count backwards from 20 to number 1, my favorite album runs of all time. And the biggest parameter is you have to have at least 6 albums in said run. Today is episode number 12, so we're getting there slowly but surely, and this is number 9. So we're in the top 10 as of last entry. All right, so today's band is from Britain. Go figure. I'm a big lover of bands from England and the United Kingdom and Ireland, for that matter. And this is a band, if you watch this channel, you know is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm talking about Uriah Heep. And there are, 7 in this run. I wish it was 9. But I would be dishonest if I said the last 2 that at times I thought to include. I would be dishonest if I included them. They're good albums, but they're not great. They're subpar compared to the 7 that I'm presenting, which all of these I just love. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, of course, is the debut, very heavy, very humble, just called Uriah Heep in the States here. And right off the bat with Gypsy, you get, this is a proto-metal album, of course. The big 4, of course, Uriah Heep, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath, an odd duck in the sense that they're both proto-metal and metal at the same time. I've talked about that before. So back to the tracks. Gypsy, you get a taste of electricity, right? You get a taste of prog because of the instrumental section, if you will, some good instrumentation and some flourishes from the keyboards here, and just some amazing dynamite guitar from Mick Box right off the bat. Then you get the lovely, wonderful Walking in Your Shadow. Lovely is not the right word, but wonderful Walking in Your Shadow. And then you get the cover tune. I can never remember who did it originally. I think UFO even did this, Come Away Melinda, an anti-war piece. This is a lovely tune. It's sad, it's depressing, and yet at the same time, so memorable. And Byron's vocals here are just dynamite with such passion. He nails it here. Lucy Blues is great. So we get some blues here. Very akin to Black Sabbath, but in a different sense. But what I'm saying is it's similar because of the blues effort that they're doing here. And of course, if you know anything about Uriah Heep, they wanted to be more progressive and get away from the blues, and yet they come back to it. And here's an example of that, and more, especially on the 3rd record, right? Dream Air, what a great song, and Real Turned On. Those 2 back-to-back, I think, pair nicely. Real Turned On, I think, is a song that I often neglect, but I shouldn't. It's wonderful. I'll Keep On Trying, definitely, probably top 30 Uriah Heep songs of all time, for me at least. I don't hear enough people talking about this song. It does often come available on compilations or anthologies, that kind of thing. And then finally, only 8 tracks. Wake Up, Set Your Sights is, I think, a wonderful song. So very heavy, very humble. You get a bonus. This is the 2-disc version. And then you get the sophomore effort, Salisbury. I've always liked, if we go back to the original, I've always liked the original album artwork. The American artwork better. Suggests that, the creepiness of the giant millipede centipede suggests, proto-metal. And in this sense of that as well. That's David Byron's face, by the way. I didn't know that until late in the game. I just love this album cover. And same thing here. I get why this is the album cover, because there's as someone explained to me on the channel, there's a military base in Salisbury, but I prefer the more creepier. I would spend, not hours, but I would spend a lot of time looking at this album cover, trying to figure what this is. This reminds me of Abraham Lincoln's knees at the memorial in D.C., and then you get this mummified or alien creature busting out of its cloth, suggests Lazarus, alien, who knows, Power Slave comes to mind, Iron Maiden, foreshadowing that, who knows, but I love the creepiness. I'd love to find a shirt for this. I have a shirt for this. album cover, but not Salisbury, the American version. So let's talk about the tracks. Bird of Prey, what a wonderful song, one of their hits, of course. The Park, this is kind of a goofy pun, but for this song, they nailed it right out of the park. It's a wonderful song. I don't think the song gets talked about enough, but I love it. Time to Live is a song I neglect from time to time, but it's wonderful. Lady in Black, of course, the folky song on the album, sung by Ken Hensley himself. High Priestess is marvelous, and they get the wonderful title track, Salisbury, 14 plus minutes, 15 or 16 plus minutes, progressive rock, one of the best epic progressive rock songs of all time, done the Uriah Heep way. I kind of, on one hand, I kind of wish they would have done more of this kind of music, in the sense that it's stretched even more than normal what they do. But then there's other times when no, I'm glad they didn't, because there's other epic tracks, and this is kind of a unique one and done kind of thing, and let it be kind of thing. It's great. No need to try to imitate it, that kind of thing. All right, so this is a great album. I think these are both great albums. I don't call them masterpieces, but they're great. Great debut, strong. Great sophomore effort, strong. You got to have. In some cases, you don't need a strong debut album, because there are bands who really come into their own on their second album, or they may have one hit on their debut, and then the sophomore effort is where they really hit their stride, right? But I'm a big believer, and of course there are always exceptions to the rule, but I'm a big believer so many bands are successful because they have a strong sophomore effort. Think The Doors pairs well with the original. The original is great. The second one is equally as great. Same thing here. Think Rush with Fly By Night, that kind of thing. Black Sabbath comes to mind, UFO, etc. So number 3, Look at Yourself. These are all, by the way, that I'm showing up to and through and including the 4th album, the 2 CD versions. This is more bluesy, and yet it has and retains the progressive element that the band was looking for early on from the Spice Days and Toe Fat and all that. Look at Yourself, the title track, is fabulous. I Want to Be Free, equally as fabulous. Of course, you have the wonderful July Morning. The live version for me is, I would say, the studio version is the definitive version, but I love the live version as well. I love them inviting Manfred Mann to play on the Mini Moog. It's just fabulous. Tears in My Eyes, great bluesy slide guitar going on. Shadows of Grief, an underrated masterpiece. Then you get What Should Be Done, which is just fabulous. And then, of course, the heavy, bluesy heavy, Love Machine. Excuse me. Now, there's a song on the second version, which is on one British version, an alternate version of the British track listing, which you get here, and that's What's Within My Heart, which I think should have been on both the British and the American version, but it wasn't. And unfortunately, this is a alternate mix of What's Within My Heart. I have the original version somewhere in MP3 format. Anyway, this is a solid. Sorry, this is a great record as well. Some people cite this as their favorite. This is the album where they became a international. They became part of it. Well, they were, the international success started to come in at this time in their career, which is great. And then, of course, next is Demons and Wizard. For me, their magnum opus. And this is the first album I ever had by them on vinyl, because it was the easiest one to get, as this next one is. I still have the first edition versions of both of these because, you don't know. This is back in probably the late 80s, and I'm still living at home, or maybe it's just beginning of the 90s, I think 1991. I'm just beginning to bartend. I'm living at home because I'm going to school, and my mom asked me, what do you want for Christmas? It's okay. And I asked for these 2 albums, and I got other things with these, and they weren't expensive. These were the only 2, because I had everything else on vinyl at the time, and so I wanted these on CD because the CD age is getting really big, and my mom had a wonderful Techniques CD player. Remember that brand, right? Anyway, so I'm rambling. So I still have them, not because I'm a pack rat, but because it reminds me of mom. But I wanted to have these as well because the bonus tracks are wonderful. So if we talk about The Wizard, a very folky tune which foreshadows a song that has a wizard-like feel to it on one of the John Lawton era albums in that trilogy. And then you get the heavier Traveler in Time. This is a great album from start to finish. This is a masterpiece of an album, as I said, magnum opus. Easy Living is what got me introduced. This song and Stealin' are the two songs that got me interested in Uriah Heep and to pursue chasing the discography. Poet's Justice is fabulous. Circle of Hands, Byron's voice is just magic here. Rainbow Demon, I like this song quite a bit, but is my least favorite song on the album. All My Life is heavy for Uriah Heep. The way that Byron launches into, you think he's reached his high, then he gets higher, then he gets higher. It's just amazing. The way he shouts at the top of his lungs is beautiful. And then you get Paradise and The Spell. Here it's not combined, but either way has a kind of meatloaf quality to it. And then Byron's voice is just exquisite here, above and beyond what I expect Byron to do, and it's just amazing. The piano part, da-dun-dun-dun-dun, sounds like a Jim Steinman number, but it's not. It's all Uriah Heep. Now it begs the question: did they know Meatloaf's music and were they influenced by him? I don't know. All right, so I did a video where I talked about this is one of the greatest album pairs of all time, and it is. Still not as good as Demons and Wizards, but a very, this is the bar. This is, right, almost touching. Okay. Sunrise. What a great way to introduce the album. Powerful, emotive song. I'm a big fan of that. Spider Woman's a fun song, not a great song, but I do like it. Blind Eye, Freudian in many ways, but it's not a great song. It is a good song. It's a fun song, but I like Spider Woman better than Blind Eye. I like the part best where Byron belts out, so what is my meaning, what am I trying to say, and then he gives the message, right? That's the best part of the song. Echoes in the Dark, my least favorite song, but it is quite fantastic though. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Blind Eye is my least favorite song, as I just said. When it comes to the songs that I like the most, I'm just going to give it away now. The songs that I like the most on here are Sunrise, Echoes in the Dark, Rain, Sweet Lorraine, and The Magician's Birthday. Of those are my favorite. This is the last in those 5 or 6, so 4 or 5. It's a masterful song. I love it very much. Sometimes I neglect it. I'm not sure why, but I'm crazy about the song, so it happens. Next is the beautiful melody-driven ballad, Rain. Just a beautiful song. Byron's voice here, again, exquisite. Sweet Lorraine, the Waka Waka 70s type feel and vibe. I'm not sure how to describe that. You hear that kind of tone in those Pam Grier films from the 70s kind of thing. The Mod Squad TV show from the 70s. I was a kid when that we know. So it's great 70s. It's kind of a microcosm of what early 70s rock is. And of course the message is about, taking something. Next you get the often neglected Tales. I think the song is quite good. It's not a great song. And then you get the epic track, The Magician's Birthday, a song about good versus evil. Byron playing both parts. There's that funny part where Byron's a good guy and he's telling off the villain and the villain goes, yes. It's creepy and fun, and the guitar solo is so amazing. I love it. All right, first time I heard it, wow. And still today, wow. So this is the 5th album in said run, The Magician's Birthday. Love that Roger Dean artwork, and of course it had to grace the wall in the kitchen or outside of the kitchen. All right, next is a Dynamite album as well, and that of course is Sweet Freedom. I like this from the get-go, and of course what inspired me to buy this album is the second song, Stealin', my favorite Uriah Heep song of all time. But Dreamer comes before that, and Dreamer is a wonderful tune. Then you get the fabulous One Day. I love the way it starts off with a flourish, and Byron belts in, one day, and a repetition. It is a beautiful song. And then you get the majestic, equally as beautiful, or more beautiful song, Sweet Freedom, the title track. which has a wonderful message. Rock and roll is all about, in many ways, sex, love, relationships, coming and going, in and out of love kind of thing, to quote Bon Jovi. But often it's the opposite. It is about, solitude, about the freedom of, escaping from a bad relationship. And this is a wonderful song about that. If I Had the Time, equally as beautiful, as One Day is. Sweet Freedom is the most beautiful gem of this album. The heaviest, of course, is Stealin'. I love If I Had the Time. 7 stars. The last 3 albums is where the album begins to, I don't want to say not excel as much. They're not as good as, the first 5 songs are stellar. But 7 Stars, Circus, and Pilgrim are good songs, but not great is what I'm getting at. 7 Stars is a good song. I like it. Circus is a good song. I like it. And Pilgrim, of those 3, is the best. And then you get some bonus tracks. Sunshine is amazing. And you get some alternate live versions. So there's no 2-disc version of this, as far as I know. But this is the, still Sanctuary Records, but the deluxe, expanded deluxe edition. You got to get this. And then finally, number 7. Some fans and critics poo-poo on this. I think this album is very good. Not a great album, but very good. This is, compared to the ones I've just shown you, not as good as these 6, but this is a very good album. All right, so Wonderworld, the title track, is fabulous. I love it. Suicidal Man, it's a good song, not a great song. The Shadow in the Wind, very poetic, very good song. Then you get the amazing So Tired, We Can All Relate. The Easy Road as well, one of the gems of this album. Something or Nothing, I think, is wonderful. I Won't Mind, I think, is a gem on this piece as well, this record. We Got We is okay. And then you get the wonderful Dreams, and then bonus tracks. What Can I Do, I think, is fabulous. Love, Hate, and Fear, previously unreleased version, is fabulous. Stone's Throw, previously unreleased version, is fabulous. And then you get some extended version. You get an extended version of Dreams, which is good, and then 2 live versions of I Won't Mind and So Tired. This is a very good album. It's exceptional if you count, it's even better because of the bonus tracks, Love, Hate, and Fear, and Stone's Throw, and What Can I Do? Of those through, What Can I Do is just amazing and remarkable, and one of my favorite bonus tracks that the band ever did. You gotta get another, this is another expanded deluxe edition, it says right here. So here you have it, folks. My 12th episode, number 9. So next will be number 8. I look forward to seeing you there. Take care now. Bye-bye. God bless.